Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel for Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this such important last day of the year, a year where we have worked so hard for our freedom and we get closer to it as each day passes. Before I delve into today's show, I want to make sure I'm well connected. I only see Rumble connected and YouTube. Can anybody from Twitter or Facebook, it seems it's not connected. It's okay. Go live there. Click here to reconnect. I'm sorry about that. The criminals have made lots of efforts to not make this show happen, and I know it's because we have made so much progress in our fight for freedom that I'm good to go. Please, Facebook, anybody from Facebook, let me know. Happy New Year to everybody. Hello from Texas. I'm here freezing in DC, but it's okay. It's okay because like my mom used to say, I don't know how to translate this, but it's that what dogs get when your skin itches. Well, that disease doesn't itch when what you're doing is with pleasure, and that's exactly what's happening, and it's unstoppable. Okay, and I just want to convey to you how enthusiastic I am about 2026. So, anybody from Facebook? Okay, Targeted. Thank you, Targeted in Nebraska. Thank you, Jill. Oh, I'm so blessed to have such beautiful friends. I need Facebook. If somebody from Facebook can tell me that we're connected. Let me see. I am live. Okay. Somebody from Facebook can tell me. It'd be great because I don't want to miss that crowd over there. It's supposed to be connected, but I don't. Go. Hi, Judy. Okay, well, so welcome to episode 33 of The Gavel. As you know, it's a podcast dedicated to bringing you the updates on the end to government weaponization against law-abiding Americans and civilians around the world. As you know, I am an attorney with 30 years experience. My specialization was environmental law and First Amendment law when I was in Puerto Rico. I would like to investigate. There's so much corruption there. I was investigating all the corruption coupled with the environmental crimes. And they didn't like it over there. The whole set of oligarchs just thought, this pesky attorney doing everything she shouldn't be doing. So they put me on the list, just like many of you. And that was the worst thing they could have done, because here I am fighting to expose and shut down this program. Today's program, as I had advertised, it's going to be I'm just going to list the 10, for me, most significant events that are going to roll on to 2026. And, I have to confess to you that while I was preparing this list, I was so divided, into what is most important and what is not, which ones are more important. So I just said, whatever, I'm going to just pick these because I know they're really important. There are other ones that are going on, but we might just talk about them in between. So before we go any further, I'm a little concerned. Oh, Facebook is connected. Perfect. Thank you so much. I think we have our entire family here, and I am so glad to have you because, as you know, I am all alone here in DC fighting for you all and for myself. And it doesn't feel lonely. Doesn't feel lonely because I have you all. Sorry for the nose thing. Criminals got away with dousing me last Tuesday, but it sort of exploded 2 days later, and I was very ill. It's a flu. I think it's probably some sort of COVID, but it's okay because no weapon shall prosper against me, you criminals. And, next time I'll be more careful. I admit I was careless and they got me, but now they made me smarter. Okay, so I'm just going to begin with this invocation, and it's a little long, but please bear with me because of this. As we know, when 2025 started, I really thought we'd see freedom by the end of the year, and it hasn't happened that way. But we have to bear in mind one thing: there is chronological time, and then there's the time of God. And I hope I pronounce this well, Ecclesiastes 3 from 1 to 8. This is how it reads. This talks about the time of God. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. So, as I have told you so many times, everything, we are in precisely the place we need to be. And I think that for all of those of us that have suffered so much, we have to be so grateful because we are here now fighting this heroic fight for freedom, not just for us, but for generations to come. And as you know, there are many of us that were victims of the same program that didn't make it this far. So you have to feel blessed and grateful that we've made it this far and the best is yet to come. So that does not mean we should cross our arms and just wait for it to happen. No, this is the most crucial time that I need you to roll up your sleeves and become an active participant in this quest for freedom. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe. It's the only way we can defeat. You have no idea how shadow banned I am on X. Like, there's a post that has 40,000 views. I am the first comment right after it, and I only have 200 views. Why? Because I am shadow banned. So I depend on you. It doesn't cost you anything, and it makes a huge difference, a multiplying effect. Okay, so please like, share, and subscribe. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to start this with a funny, very funny, it's a meme by Phil Kennedy, who is one of the, one of the suspendables, or one of the whistleblowers. Here it is. And while he put this video, it says, he put at the bottom, the caption was, leaked footage of the FBI, assisting local law enforcement. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it said. Let me just play it again for you. I'm sorry, I got caught in the cough. Watch this leaked footage of the FBI assisting local law enforcement. So as we know, nobody respects the FBI anymore. And I think this has become more evident in the past week, where 25-year-old YouTuber Nick Shirley has exposed billion-dollar Somali fraud in Minnesota with his with a man by the name of David who did the research. And Nick is such an incredible, I mean, his parents must be so proud of this young man, because he's such an incredible leader that he's saying, I'm not taking all the credit. David did all the research, but he has exposed massive fraud. And the significance of his exposure is not just the billions of dollars in fraud. Somalis stopped being pirates in the oceans and the high seas because they came to steal in the United States, like taking candy from a baby. Oh, because of the fear that they wouldn't be called racist or whatever. It's just such a complex thing. I'm not going to go in there, because that really doesn't have to do with our plight. But what does have to do with Nick Shirley is the following. He has exposed how agencies with billions of dollars in budget, like the FBI, like the DOJ, like the DHS, failed to detect, make indictments, and prosecute these people carrying out this massive fraud, which is now becoming a national movement of people saying, I'm not going to pay any more taxes if you're just going to give them away to fraudsters. So more on this shall be revealed. And the good thing for us is that it is exposing the failure to abide by the oath of office of everybody in the government. Anyway, I'm going to go into the 10 events of the year. And we're going to start with the Quiet Skies program. As you know, it was shut down by Kristi Noem, and is now being investigated by Rand Paul. So it was a program that cost the United States $200 million a year. As we know, most TIs were not in the Quiet Skies because they didn't want to let you know that you were on the TSDB. So it was supposed to track terror threats, but under the last administration, it was twisted into a political surveillance tool, and the people on its list swelled to numbers that, even though it's bad for them, it's good for those of us that were, in handling codes 3 and 4, not necessarily the Quiet Skies. Why? Because now it made mainstream being illegally placed on watch lists. And that is good for us, because now people know you could be next. It could be you tomorrow. So the important part of this closure of the Quiet Skies is that Rand Paul opened an investigation into it in the Senate, Homeland Security Committee. It closes in February. And later, I'm going to explain to you why you need to submit your comments to it. Okay? So that is number 10 for me. It is significant because Rand Paul has vowed to get to the bottom of it. I am not so certain that he will if we don't enable it. That's why we need to make our voices heard. That's why I'm here too. Okay, so number 9, President Trump on January 20th signed the executive order demanding an end to government weaponization. This is hugely important for us because it ordered the Department of Justice to investigate and render reports to the to the president. Right now, we know for a fact that there's not much we can expect from Pam Bondi, right? But she has issued directives to the people in the Department of Justice to render reports regarding the government weaponization. Tulsi Gabbard has a committee, an ongoing committee at the Department of National Intelligence, where they are studying the abuses by the intelligence community. Supposedly she had 45 days, but obviously this must, these are, I guess, guidelines and not written on stone, because she needs to render a report to the president about these abuses. And she has been, little by little, and I'm going to talk about it later, exposing things. And I think the reason she's doing it is because it's like she's leaving a little trail until she exposes the whole thing. Like, she couldn't expose the whole thing from the get-go, even if she knew about it. So we also know that Ed Martin, who is a great guy at the DOJ in charge of government de-weaponization, well, he only has one employee. And that's not good. That reflects poorly on Todd Blanche, whom I personally think he's deep state, and Miss Bondi, who I don't have to tell you my opinion because you already have yours. Most of you do anyways. So what we need to continue is to show up and not let them get rid of us. We're here and we're not going away. Okay. Then, so, at least there are obligations that they're supposed to incur. Now, going into the next one, this one is very important. Tulsi Gabbard, number 8, she declassified the December 2021 directive classifying anybody that opposed COVID mandates as domestic extremists. The importance of this, as I mentioned before, is that it made more mainstream, the entire situation with being called a domestic extremist. Because anybody, parents, doctors, like Dr. Priester, okay, that just told the truth. Anybody that simply had a brain and read through the stuff and said, no, I'm not getting the jab, they were all declared to be violent extremists that could incur in an act of terrorism. This is huge because even though I don't have the evidence, I believe that between this and the parents protesting at school boards meetings because they were teaching pornography to their children, those were also in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and the Catholics praying in Latin. Well, I don't have the numbers, but I think that what this did is it exploded the non-investigative subjects into millions. And that is good for you because there's all these people are victims of probably in handling code 4. Okay, so this is going to be very relevant this year for the battles that we have to wage. Now, number 7, it's one of my favorite. Chuck Grassley exposed the 8 senators and 1 representative were surveilled prior to and after January 6th. And many of you say, I don't care about January 6th, whatever. No. What the FBI did in January 6th is what they did to you and they did to me, but they did it at a massive scale. They knew beforehand who were these people that were going to go there. They did the research on them in order to identify their support groups, etc. After they went to January 6th, they arrested them. They were entrapped. And you know the rest. Many other lives obliterated. Even, for example, a paralegal that worked in a law firm that defended J6ers. She had the law firm thrown at her, her child taken away from her. And, many lives have been destroyed, just like yours and ours. So this is important because even though Chuck Grassley's exposure only concerns the senators that are completely like, oh my God, how dare they have been. Guess what? In April of 2026, the FISA Section 702 is up for renewal. And guess what's going to happen to it? I hope that all these senators realize that, and that's why I'm here for, because I am going to make them very well aware that innocent Americans don't have a moment of privacy at the hands of these criminals, these government criminals, that are bored to death listening to our conversations and reading our emails, looking, delving, searching for some criminal predicate that they will never find. So this is important because it makes our issue sensitive to them, which is the illegal surveillance. Now we don't have to say, do you imagine what it is for our emails to be read and interfered with and our conversations listened to? Now they know. And so for this, we should be really grateful because even though Grassley's not doing it for us, he's not, he's exposing the deep state. He's exposing the criminals at the FBI. Now, Boasberg is getting impeached. And this is I have it in number 6. It's really huge for us. And the reason is this. Boasberg was the chief judge in the FISA court from 2020, 2021. The time during which the 278,000 FISA warrants against Americans were issued. This is what Kash Patel denounced in his government gangsters. This is what prompted in 2023 that the new chief judge ordered an investigation into the FBI violations of the Woods procedures, which is the ways through which the channels they're supposed to follow to submit applications. This man here, I am absolutely certain, approved Section 702 warrants en masse without even interrogating anything. Section 702 is the most important mechanism for these criminals to keep the program operating. Why? Because by interfering with our conversations and emails, they do not let us reach the people that need to listen to what we have to say. And I'm going to go in there to every day that there's a hearing on Judge Boasberg, and I'm going to give away flyers if they allow me to, because this man is responsible for the obliteration of many lives by renouncing his oath of office and granting these 702 applications without so much as reasonable suspicion, any criminal predicate. So Okay. I'll check your comments right before I leave. I just want to get through to all the 10 items I had. Okay, so I'm not going to miss a moment of the Boasberg impeachment, because this man, the harm he has done is not just to us, but to many other people. And since he signed those orders saying, do not tell the senators, AT&T, Verizon, you shut up, you don't tell them. Well, guess what? That's the hugest violation against the Fourth Amendment. So he's going to have a lot of answering to do. Now, on number 5, this should actually be number 1, but Chuck Grassley, the chairless Chuck Grassley, this is the first thing he did. He declassified an electronic communication from the FBI that exposed that there are these 2 hidden categories of files that nobody except those with a high security clearance can look at, which are the prohibited access and the restricted access files. And they are within the Sentinel system. And excuse me, you know how the criminals don't like me talking about this, because they gave me this really bad cough right as I'm talking about this. So that's why you'll have to listen in more. This is the door that we never knew existed. You know how in those movies you have like a hidden door, like a bookshelf, and it opens, and then there's a pathway there? That's what this is. For years, our Privacy Act requests were denied because they said, oh, we looked in the central record systems and there's nothing there. Guess what? Because our information is not there. Not just our information. Notice this. There are FBI agents. There are CIA agents that have Havana syndrome. They must be classified as domestic terrorists. Their nomination form and their information must be in the prohibited access and restricted access files. So now we are sending, and I am urging every single one of you, if you do not know the form, look in targetedjustice.com/legal, and the first tab is Privacy Act. You can copy from there. The most important thing you need to copy from there, aside from saying, I'm an American citizen, I was born this date in this place, or a resident, or the Europeans, just look at the instructions there, because that's another topic. Important thing is you say, I demand that you look in the prohibited access, in the restricted access, in the entire Sentinel, in the entire eGuardian, in the entire Guardian, in the entire central record systems, because the Privacy Act does not give the agency the authority to decide, oh, no, I'm just going to look in this drawer here, but I'm not going to look in this file here. Okay? So this is a huge Chuck Grassley, of course, he didn't do it for us, but this has got to be, for our community, the most important event, because nothing like this had ever happened before. And the repercussions are huge for those of you and those TIs that have been convicted and trapped into a crime because you were not given the Brady files. And the Brady files is a constitutional requirement of exculpatory evidence. And like Ed Martin said, it's very problematic because in this prohibited access and restricted access files, there's a lot of Brady material there. So what's going to happen to all those convictions? I mean, it's just such a huge snowball, but we cannot just let it sit there because it's going to melt. We need to make it grow. Okay. So that's for me, number 5. Number 4, the Russian collusion hoax was exposed. Should bring down government criminals such as Brennan, Comey, Obama, John Bolton. And even though, again, this appears to be so distant from us, it is not. it is very close to us because it gets to the bottom of the CIA criminality. People are starting to see how the CIA is not just criminals overturning elections in foreign countries, but in our own. Tulsi has been very clear that Obama and his people and the CIA undermined the will of the American people. And they stole an election. The evidence is already there. I'm not just saying it, it's there. I mean, there's just the repercussions are so incredible because, for example, Rudy Giuliani lost millions of dollars in a lawsuit, defamation lawsuit, for saying that the election had been stolen. Now, what's going to happen with that? Is that going to get overturned? Is he going to get back his law license that was taken away from him for saying this? You know, the repercussions are just huge. And in terms of the program, I believe it'll expose, you know, once a criminal like Brennan goes to jail, a lot of the people around it, of his minions, will be debilitated. So I think this is really huge for us. And I just know that the best is yet to come. When, yeah, I know you say, you know, Bondi didn't do right, the indictment for Comey and for Letitia James. It's okay. You know, let's hope that she fixes it. Let's just hope she's not intentionally doing it wrong, right? Because if not, well, something's going to have to happen there. And another thing is the judges that were nominated under that presidency, if they were valid or not. Now, in number 3, I have really important for our community. It's the release of the Cognitive Liberty Mind Controlled documentary. It has been translated with AI to 10 languages. This is huge because for the first time, people in the community have a very professional, very eloquent, very credible witnesses telling their same story. You are no longer alone explaining to your family, friends, and even your pastor what you're going through. All you have to do is, if you love me and you trust me, please watch this. So to me, this is huge in terms of exposing the program. And I'm very grateful to Dominic because he did a masterful job, and it's so elegant that the entire community needs to be extremely grateful to Dom. So make it a point to share it with everyone because you do not know what person you send to will send it to Tulsi and will get there. Remember, our emails and our communications are interfered with, but not those of the people necessarily that you interact with. So if you send it to that person may get the inspiration to send it to any of these people. Now, number 2, which is huge for us, is that Tulsi exposed Operation Mockingbird. And I think that more than exposing it, I think that the importance is that she's going to shut it down. Watch.
The media being used as a propaganda mechanism, we saw it flatly. I mean, I think it's the smoking gun, quite frankly, of the Obamagate narrative and the Russiagate narrative, that it was so baked in that the New York Times and Washington Post went and ran with it. Some would say that that's part of Operation Mockingbird. Some would say that that's part of what we learned in the Church Committee, that the intel agencies were using media outlets as their mouthpieces, and that those mouthpieces would parrot the official narrative. And I wanted to ask you, is this operation still going on? Are you aware of the intel agencies working directly with media outlets in order to push prescribed narratives that may or may not be true?
It's something that we've already had to deal with, Benny, within this administration, where there are people within the intelligence community who believe that their will is more important than the will of the American people, and will weaponize intelligence by leaking it to their friends within the mainstream media with the intent of undermining President Trump's agenda. It is not one that he hasn't already talked about in every rally and town hall that he did throughout the campaign. I don't even know how many there were, but President Trump is enacting the very thing he promised the American people he would do in this election. So people in the intelligence community, they may agree, they may disagree. That's not the point here. As intelligence professionals, as people who work in the national security space, in the intelligence community, they are required to fulfill their mandate to their oath to the Constitution of the United States and to the President of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people.
Yeah. Tulsi has exposed it. And just like she already knows, Operation Mockingbird is alive and kicking. We also have evidence from Kevin Shipp, who is former CIA. For the first time, I heard somebody from the intelligence community saying MKUltra is very much alive. And these criminals didn't like that. Let me just show it to you.
One of the things I've been talking about with James Martinez and other whistleblowers about Palantir is basically the control of our mind by these companies like Palantir and these big data companies. And unless it goes to court, like at the consciousness level, like you're basically protecting our ability to have our own thoughts with directed energy weapons, with MKUltra programs. Right. It's almost getting hard to know constitutionally, like, what are my own thoughts anymore? Because I've talked to MKUltra whistleblowers who have had their lives turned upside down. They've had, directed energy weapons targeting their families and awful things. Maybe you can talk about that piece of this with the CIA and MKUltra. Is MKUltra dead, or is it very much alive under another name?
It's alive under another name. Now, it's not doing the same old technology that it was doing back there, which was shock treatment, LSD, mescaline, in some cases sexual abuse to try to alter people's consciousness. Are they still engaging in that kind of thing? I don't know. That stuff is so compartmented that the director of the CIA now would not know it.
There you have it. Yes. Please write to Redacted and tell him to have me on his show. I would be more than happy to be in his show. I know that Ortain tried and he didn't reply to him. Maybe his communications were interfered with. So if you can try it, hey, help us. That's what we're asking for you to roll up your sleeves and help me get out there. Okay. So what I think is so significant, I'd never heard anybody from the intelligence community publicly say MKUltra is alive and operating under another name. Notice how he says that he doesn't even think that the director of the CIA knows about it. And this is hugely important because people in his agency are doing things he doesn't even know about. It's part of the security clearances. The chief of the CIA doesn't have a security clearance that the criminals under him have. And this is something that Tulsi has to deal with. Okay. And now I'm going to the number one most important. Okay. I'm a little biased, right? But most important event that is for working towards the end of our weaponization. And it is Analog Ana went to Washington, and I am making noise, and I am making people know who I am. I am, and I wanted to share this with you because since it already happened, I wanted to share a really important moment, which, as many of you know, I had, I was walking around the halls, and the congressman I bumped into as the elevator opened was Eli Crane. And I just said to him, I need to speak to you. I need to speak to you. And he ushered me into his office. And I said to him, they're going to tell you I'm a criminal and a terrorist. And as I've told you before, he said, no, I've seen your eyes. I've seen your passion. They can't convince me of that. And I took him, Richard Lighthouse, and myself. Richard flew in from Houston. And we went in there and we had Dr. Bear in video conference, and we handed him personally the 15 affidavits of the civilians with Havana syndrome. And I just want you to understand how important this is, because he was one of the most important voices in that May 8th, 2024 hearing on the House Homeland Security Committee investigating directed energy weapons and anomalous health incidents. And my motto for this from now on is, now they know. Now they know that civilians are being victims of Havana syndrome. And if I can in any way urge you, I already have 15 affidavits. If you have been diagnosed, please send me, contact me through Ana TJ at proton.me, and I'll make the format for you so you send me the evidence, because I also, Analog Ana, already also knocked on the door of the Senate Select Intelligence Committee and delivered those affidavits there. Thank you, everyone that sent them to Dr. Bear and to me. Now they cannot say that they don't know that there are civilian victims. They cannot, sweep it under the rug. And it is my goal to continue. Yeah, it was the God. You remember how I talked about the time of God? Well, what are the chances? There are hundreds of elevators in those 8 buildings, hundreds of elevators, many floors. What were the odds of an elevator door opening and that man being there by himself without any minions around and being so kind and so caring to listen to me and to give me a meeting? So that is how I pray for miracles every day I walk into those buildings. And I am meeting people and I am making them know who Ana Toledo is and bringing the receipts. So I have to thank you. So I think that is the single most important event, because how God put it in my heart to just pick up and leave and just leave everything behind. And I work every day with all the passion in me to expose and shut this down. And I am just so I am so grateful to all of you that have supported me, not just financially through the donations to Targeted Justice that allow me to remind you today is the last day, 31st. You can do a donation. It's tax-free for year 2025. So if you are in need of some sort of a tax credit, well, there you have it. It's a good excuse for you, because I'm still away from my goal of, that I set for this mission. But I want to tell you that there are wonderful things that are coming, not just Boasberg hearings. There are probably going to be hearings on Ana Paulina Luna's American Privacy Restoration Act, which is intended to eliminate the Patriot Act. And that's an upcoming thing. And I'm going to be there in the front row telling everybody why it needs to be eliminated. And then there's also this admission or exposure by Kevin Shipp is huge. There's also going to be hearings on the illegal surveillance on the senators and the representatives. So the way I see it, it's an avalanche of truth, and there's no stopping this. There is no stopping this. So I want to give a shout out to all of you that have sent your Privacy Act requests and that have been covering for me. I felt so happy this week. Somebody just tried to attack me, and I didn't have to defend myself so much because all of you came in my defense, and that just touched my heart so much because I wear my heart on my sleeve, you know. Now, before I leave, I know I have extended myself so long in this important day that I know many of you are ready to say goodbye to the year. And again, thank you for being here with me. But I want to urge you for your New Year's resolutions. If you haven't worked on them yet, I'm going to give you a few suggestions. First of all, remember, what did I do today to end my targeting? I urge every single one of you to become passionate about fighting for freedom and join our efforts, whether it is as a digital warrior or you can do a few of these or all of these that I'm going to tell you right now. Number one, share with friends, family, pastors, ministers, colleagues, Dominic's documentary. It is of utmost importance that, you know, university students, I mean, this is, if you have like some sort of cousin or relative that is going to university, maybe they could write a paper on this. The word is exposure, any which way. The more the word gets out, the more people are like, huh? Is this going on? Is this being paid for with my money? The torture of children? So that's number one. Please. Maybe somebody can share it with the perfect person. Number two, you're going to write to the House Committee on Homeland Security, demanding an investigation into the multiple watch lists and the FBI's illegal practice of placing innocent Americans on the list. The Quiet Skies investigation closes down on February of 2026. Each one of you has to send, it doesn't have to be 10, don't make it 10 pages, page and a half, stating, and I'm going to write in Mira a sample for you to just, you know, copy paste, but make it a goal. Okay. Number three, the 2026 civilian registry is out in pre-publication. This goes, the civilian registry is part of number one because it's part of the red pilling of the Congress people. You know, Mr. Crane, when I showed him in my phone the civilian registry, he was like, you know, it's a hugely important document, and I just have to be, I'm so grateful to Dr. Lambert because he has updated it, and it's just a priceless tool because it proves one thing. The intelligence community, the Department of War, the Department of Homeland Security is not protecting Americans from directed energy weapon attacks. As simple as that. Once it's no longer a federal employee, well, guess what? If I'm not a federal employee, why am I getting attacked with directed energy weapons and you, DHS, are not protecting me? So that is very important that you're right, Remember, for those of you that never saw Shawshank Redemption, when Tim, he kept on writing and writing letters for donations for books. Finally, the book showed up. And the person that sent also a check for establishing his library and said, please don't write us anymore. That's exactly what we want, for them to say, please, okay. I'm going to listen to you, but please don't write us anymore. Finally, send your Privacy Act request. Now that Kash Patel asserted, he actually bragged about having kicked down the door of the prohibited access files. Guess what? This is our moment, because now he cannot go back and say, no, I'm not going to look in the prohibited access for you. I'm only going to look in the central record system. No. Just if those are illegal categories, the Privacy Act does not allow the agency to have these secret categories for their illegal shenanigans. Now, and remember, we will file lawsuits in different areas where we're making groups of people, and we are going to force the issue so that the courts adjudicate that the Privacy Act does not allow the FBI to have these secret files on people that have absolutely no criminal predicate. They're going to have to put it under oath, and we're going to fight for that. Finally, I'm asking you, as your New Year's resolution, to approach your pastor, your minister, your priest, whoever is your spiritual counselor, to see if they would be interested in attending an online symposium that we are preparing, which is a faith-based symposium to explain the importance that the spiritual counselors present in, number one, saving lives from suicide, and number two, supporting the people in their churches and in their communities, understanding what they're going through. So if you make it a resolution to ask them, would you be interested? This is something I'm going through. Would you be interested? Because I'm not the only person. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in the United States. And it's one way to rescue sheep to the church and to support them. It doesn't cost you anything. And it can make a huge difference, because if we have, again, the word is exposure. If we have 500 of these ministers, pastors, participating as viewers on a symposium we're working on, it's going to be huge, because the effect is exponential. Okay? Yes, prayer. Without prayer, nothing can be done. That's my humble opinion. I am here because I am a miracle, and God put me here and continues to protect. Right now, they're attacking my kidneys real bad. I know I'm okay, because God will not allow for anything to happen to me. They continue with their stupid antics and tricks. Anyways, so again, if you do remember, if you do find it in your heart, here it is, Ana. Yeah, I have lost my eyesight in such incredible degree, but it's okay, because you know what? Most of the stuff we have lost, we will get again. We will totally, I totally believe that when the time comes, we will get everything back, so and we will enjoy it much more. Even if we don't get the full thing, whatever we get back, I'll have my eyes, whatever, fixed. Whatever we will get back, we will be so much more grateful for. And page not found. What is it? What's not displayed? My Gifts and Go is not displayed. Go.com. Yeah, the criminals, I have to tell you, they have been, please report to me, they have been shutting off the Targeted Justice website. I get reports from GoDaddy that there was a downtime. And what I think is happening is that when one of these important people are looking us up, Targeted Justice, oh, no, okay. Yeah, because you have to go first. Yeah, okay, so go first to targetedjustice.com/legal. I'm sorry. targetedjustice.com/legal. And then under legal, you will see Privacy Act. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you. Sorry, excuse me for having being so for this lasting so long, but I wish you the very best in this new year. I hope I have inspired you to form part of this freedom movement, because every single one of you counts, and you need to among these New Year resolution, make it a point to write to your congressperson and say, please meet with Ana Toledo. Talk to them. Many of them might be right now, I guess the criminals are, going around and intimidating them, but they have to be on the right side of history. And that's what I suggest you tell them. Be on the right side of history, and Happy New Year, Autumn. And listen in. I also delivered to Ron Johnson's office a civilian registry. I'm going to be making copies of the new one and delivering them to the people that have to do with, not just anomalous health incidents and homeland security, but also intelligence and also health. So there's a lot of work cut out for me. And I'm excited because I have nothing to do except for work for freedom. So have a great Happy New Year. And I don't know. Have a Happy New Year, and don't lose the faith, and don't let them push you back. Just keep on going forward. Have a wonderful, wonderful Happy New Year. See you next week.